The Deep Gripping Reality podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the greatest thing out there for podcasts. It's free and it has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor distributes it for you, so you've got your distribution covered. It goes to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, basically anywhere you want it to go and need it to go. Plus, you can make money with no minimum listenership. It's basically everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go to download Anchor for free at the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So I do digital marketing consulting. It's something that I really, really enjoy. It's technically digital strategy management is what it is. But I got asked the other day, because I was advising one of my friends that he should have an Instagram account and that he should go all in on it. And he looked at mine after getting his, and he asked why all of my posts for the podcast, TDGR podcast, aren't, quote, on brand. He said, why is not all of your posts on brand? Wouldn't you expect it to all be on brand? And doesn't that make you a hypocrite because you tell other people they should post to build their brand? I think my answer will surprise you. So stay tuned, folks. It's about to get deep.
You're listening to the Deep Gripping Reality podcast, the show that gives you leadership lessons and insights from the cutting edge of digital marketing. Hosted by Stephen J. Adelman. It's about to get deep.
So what was my answer to my friend who I was giving free marketing advice to, who asked me for free marketing advice and decided to ask me a somewhat insulting question about why my Instagram posts aren't all quote-unquote on brand, and then said, isn't that hypocritical? You know, a lesser man would be insulted. A lesser man would jump on after answering his question and make a podcast about it. Well, who am I kidding? I'm a lesser man. That's exactly what I'm doing. So listen, first off, screw you, dude. You don't get to pick my brand. No, here's the thing. Your brand is you, okay? You decide your brand. And in my case, I decide my brand. I think that there's a lot to be said for authenticity in Instagram and in any social platform. Now, on authenticity, I'm going to stick by that. As far as personality goes, there's a lot to be said for personality. But you have to be willing to accept whatever criticism you get because of exercising that personality, especially if it's part of your brand. So in my case, my friend coming at me like that, am I pissed off at him? No, not at all. I get it, and it's a good question. It actually is a good question. You go to my Instagram feed, you would expect to see all kinds of stuff about my podcast. But that's the thing. My followers, I've in less than a year, because I didn't have an Instagram account a year ago, I've gained a few hundred followers. That's not bad, considering that I don't, really go all out on it. That's not bad, but that is my platform of choice to promote my podcast. And the thing is, that and Twitter, I would not expect people to follow me if I wasn't putting out content that was enjoyable. And part of who I am, part of my brand, is my charisma and the charm that I bring. And this isn't ego. This is just, I've been told this by people. I've been told by clients that they enjoy working with me because this is the feedback I get. Because I make learning new things easy, and I provide insights in ways that are relatable, and I explain why taking certain actions help people. And the reason is because I'm personally invested in their success. So the answer to the question of why my stuff isn't all on brand is because staying on brand for everything is freaking boring, okay? I like to post pictures of my dog once in a while. I like to post pictures of my kids on Instagram once in a while. Not very often, but once in a while. I like to do selfies with, wear a mask messages. Wearing a mask isn't a political statement, in my opinion. It is a personal one. It says, I care about the health of those around me. That's it. I'm going to post about that once in a while. Sure, I'm going to do stuff about my podcast, and hopefully because I've put out interesting content, entertaining content, that when I do post about my podcast, people will check it out. Because the reality is I'm not a boring person. And I'm pretty proud of not being a boring person. I go out of my way to put out content that I hope people will enjoy. And the reality is that sometimes building your brand is just putting out content. It doesn't all have to be winners. It can't all be winners. You're not going to knock it out of the park every time. Sure, you can spend all the time in the world polishing it. But the reality is, if you're not out there engaging with people and putting out content that people will enjoy, then what are you doing? Why even be on the social platform if that's the case? That's the bottom line, folks. That's why I do Instagram. That's why I do Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff for promoting my podcast, is because I want people to see that it's not just all about me. It's about you. It's about my listeners. It's about, giving free content, free advice, interesting insights, entertainment, a relief from the stress that is 2020 and is the world. That's kind of what it's about. So I know it's contradictory for me to say it's not all about me, but I get to decide what my brand is. But I hope that still makes sense anyway. This has not been a long episode, and it wasn't meant to be. I just really wanted to address defining what your brand is. Once you find your brand, if you're 100% professional and it's all about your business and you don't care too much about the personal connections because you're trying to make your brand and build your brand, first off, you're doing it wrong. You should always care about the personal connections. It's called social media because you're supposed to get social. But secondly, good for you. Then you stick with your brand. You do everything. I tried that. I really did. I was using Bitmoji, and every single picture that I posted on Instagram for a long time was something that I made with Bitmoji. But the reality is, that's not me. Sure, it was a fun way to grab people's attention, and it was kind of cool having a personalized cartoon version of me. But it fit for that season, And much like a business, I evolve and I adapt, and that's really what it's all about. So to answer the question, it's not all on brand because, frankly, not being all on brand is my brand. All I want to do is provide valuable content that people will enjoy. And if I do that, if I get listens for it, if I get shares for it, if I earn people's listens and their attention and them as my return audience, then I'm doing something right. Because frankly, we're all just specks in the universe. We're all just dust in the wind. We're here for a very short time. Time is finite. Time is fleeting. Let's just enjoy it. Just put yourself out there. Be you. Be yourself. Be unapologetically yourself. God bless you all, and God bless America. Until next time, dig deep, my friends.